October 2021, the north rim of the Grand Canyon in Arizona. We left the Bryce Canyon area of Utah fairly late this morning. Our trip down through Utah and into Arizona is only about 70 miles, so there's no reason to rush this morning. Even though it's already late morning, the temperature outside is barely in the 40s. And we are glad we're leaving, because tonight it's supposed to drop down into the mid-20s, and that's just too cold for us. The drive was short and uneventful, and in no time at all, we were in Arizona. We're staying in Fredonia, Arizona, which is just a few miles across the border from Kanab, Utah. The RV park we picked is a no-frills RV park, and it's called the Country Rose RV Park. This is our favorite kind of RV park. No amenities, but we don't look for that. But what it does have is nice, level sights. It has good power, good water, good sewer, and even has really decent Wi-Fi. And all that for a way better price than some of those RV resorts. Oh, and don't let the mud fool you. It just rained here, but look at the RV. It's sitting up nice and high and dry. Once everything was set up, we headed on down to Kanab, Utah for our welcome to a new location drink. The next day, kind of late in the morning, we made our way down to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We left kind of late in the morning because the temperature, although warmer than up in Bryce right now, is still pretty cold. It's barely hitting 50. We figured since it's so cold outside, exploring this park in the afternoon would be a much better idea. After all, the park is up at over 8,000 feet, and it's only going to be colder as we climb up higher. Now, since Colorado, when I was perplexed by the falling rock signs versus the fallen rock signs, I've been keeping an eye out for signs, and this was the one for this park. Bison on the road. I'm looking for bison. And look, there's a bison. No, that's a cow. Never mind, we're still looking for bison. So to get to the north rim of the Grand Canyon, you first have to travel through the Kaibab Forest, which is really pretty, but where it ends, the Grand Canyon National Park begins. For our first foray into the park, we're heading straight to the north rim. There's a nice lodge on the north rim, and the views from the back patio are just absolutely beautiful. This doesn't have the color of Bryce, but man, it is so much bigger, and the cliffs just go on and on and on. So it's still cold. I mean, it's pretty much jacket and long pants weather, but we still took a nice little hike around the ledge. So I guess what surprised me the most was the amount of vegetation. There was trees all over the place. I was expecting barren cliffs, but I was not expecting the kind of forests that surround this canyon. We did about a 3-mile hike around there, but eventually we had enough and we headed on over to the saloon for a drink. Ah, I love Arizona. It has saloons. I mean, Utah was pretty, but no saloons in Utah. Arizona, saloons and beer. So that meant it was time for a drink with a view. I mean, we do lunches with views, but this was a drink with a view. And I'm thinking I kind of like drinks with a view way more than lunches with a view. Well, we spend a while up there, drinking and enjoying the view, but eventually you just have to eat. And if you're gonna eat, Up here, you might as well do it with lunch with a view. After lunch, it was getting kind of late in the afternoon and it was time to make our way home. And the drive back was absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at those trees. They call those things quaking aspens. At this time of year, these trees have the most beautiful golden color I think I've ever seen. And when the wind blows through them just right, they kind of shimmer and they sparkle and they look beautiful. We sat there for a good long while, just listening to the wind and watching these trees sparkle. But eventually, it was time to go home. But we're coming back up here tomorrow because there's a lot more we still need to see. And today is a new day, and we are taking the Cape Royal Road all the way up to Imperial Point, and then back down and back up to Angel's Window. It's colder today, and it's really windy, and I have new critters to look for, like elk, and if I don't have to worry about elk, I may have to watch for rocks. So the wind is whipping up. No elks, no rocks. But I come around the bend, and look what I found. Trees! There were no signs to beware of trees. Man, oh man, they could have put a sign up for that too, don't you think? Fortunately, there was a good truck with a strap because the road was impassable, and we did our best to clean this thing up. We actually didn't do half bad. We made the road passable, although maybe not the entire road. Anyway, we did make it up to Imperial Point, and I will tell you, it is way nicer here than over at North Rim. The views here are so much more expansive. I mean, you look out there and you can actually see the South Rim way out there in the distance. And although it's hard to see in the pictures, if you look around, you can actually see places where the Colorado River peeks out down below. After exploring Imperial Point and the Angel's Window, it was time for us to find someplace to have lunch with a view. Okay, so this time, lunch with a view was gonna be different because it was really cold and windy outside. So lunch with a view was in the front seat of the Jeep. But hey, that's okay. Look out the windshield, and we still have the view. After enjoying a wonderful lunch in a nice warm car, we made our way back down off of Angel's Windows and headed back to the North Rim because the North Rim has a saloon. And you know, we have to have a drink because it might be too cold for lunch with a view, but it's never too cold for a drink with a view. And after a drink or two, or three, we headed on back, and the weather was definitely getting worse. We heard reports that it may very well snow up here tomorrow, and it looks like the snow is trying to get an early start. Well, we made it home, but the next morning, yeah, this just isn't right. And if it's snowing down here and we are at under 5,000 feet, I can't imagine what's happening up in the canyon at over 8,000 feet. It looks like today we're staying home. And it also looks like we're done exploring the Grand Canyon because we still have to explore Zion. So on this nice and snowy day, yeah, I said snowy day, we are going to start looking at Zion National Park. That, however, will be in our next video. So, this is our third day here in Fredonia, Arizona, and our exploration of the Grand Canyon has come to an end. We have now added Arizona to our official list of states visited. And as always, look down in the description if you want a link to all the places we visited during our stay here. And I hope we'll see you here as we continue to explore this stop.